Hey, it's Carolyn Edlund, the founder of Artsy Shark, and I've got a question for you today. Should you make limited editions? That's a really good question. And I've discussed it with many artists because I find that quite often artists will tell me, oh, I'm doing this in a limited edition, or I'm planning a limited edition of some photos or whatever. And my question is always, why are you doing this? Sometimes we don't even think it through, and it could be a good idea, or it might not be such a good idea. So should you make limited editions? The answer is maybe, but go into it thoughtfully. If you are a printmaker or you are making something that truly only has a limited number that can be made, then that actually is a limited edition. That's where the origin of it is. But many artists who are making reproductions or many photographers plan limited editions to artificially create scarcity so that there is an urgency to buy something because they'll all be gone. This could be a good idea. It could allow you to raise your prices, especially if there is already a good demand for what you make. But if you go into it thinking that maybe you ought to just do it, you might end up disappointed. Let me give you a couple of examples. A photographer that I know, I talked to a number of years ago, he and his wife were in Hawaii and they took beautiful photos of the eucalyptus trees there that were rainbow eucalyptus, really gorgeous photos. They offered them in limited editions and sold out quickly of their best-selling image. Well, then they decided they really didn't want that limited anymore because they had just cut off their income from a very good image. And so they said to me, well, we readjusted the color and we put it in a slightly larger size, but is that really right to do? When you promote a limited edition, you are telling your collectors that they are getting something rare and that there are only so many. Playing games around this is only going to get you found out and in trouble, and that could ruin your reputation. I recently spoke to another photographer who was doing some landscapes, and she had decided to put a dozen images into limited editions. She had sold some of 6 of those landscapes, and she hadn't sold any of the others. And she decided that since she loved them so much and she realized, why am I going to limit my income? She's going to keep the ones that had sold in a limited edition, and then she's going to put the others into an open edition so that there will be no restrictions on how many can be sold. So how can artists actually use limited editions to enhance their collection, to bump up some of their price points? Because obviously price is a goal here. I think they can be used sparingly and thoughtfully, although only you know your business best. So decide what you feel you should be doing. If you have an image, say you're a photographer, and you want to release it in smaller sizes on paper in an open edition, but you want to do some larger sizes on a substrate like canvas, and perhaps it's going to be hand embellished and signed, and there's going to be extra work done on it in a particular large size. Those could be limited. Why? Because there truly will only be a very limited number of pieces that are exactly like that. So I think that if you share a collection that has distinctly different pieces in the same image that are in a different format, in a very different size, with a different treatment, then you can declare those as a limited edition. Experiment with that and see how that works for you. Sometimes people think that everyone is going to be attracted by, oh, limited edition, I really want to know what this is, I really want to buy it. Not necessarily. Again, I think you need to cultivate a demand for your work overall, and then you can choose where to place those limited editions to increase that sense of urgency and to get people who want to buy and are ready to buy now in order to get something that you'll run out of.